Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the two-headed wolf gaming channel. Last Epoch, and of course, our queen bee finally hit level 58, completed the campaign, defeated the end of the campaign boss without a problem. It was fairly easy to distract her using decoys, apply a lot of poison. Of course, the extra damage from the summon bees and the eagle added up, and in the end, even if I got armor shredded, using shifting ability with the molting point assigned cleansed the ailment away, and thus I never felt vulnerable. It was quite a smooth experience for the end of the campaign. But now, hitting level 58 means that I can finally equip the most important item from this build, the Hive Mind, where now whenever a decoy explodes, it will release 8 bees, and whenever we hit a bee with an acid flask, it gains toxic coating. Now I've looked up the effect of toxic coating. It grants 50% chance to poison on hit and 10% less damage taken. The effect lasts for 10 seconds and can also stack. So we can get a multiplier effect of 50% chance to poison on hit and 10% less damage taken. So that is really awesome. And if you have converted your acid flask to fire, it also grants a chance to ignite on hit instead. And unlike that, they've taken that into consideration and have went all the way with ensuring that this item is effective even if you don't use poison. So that is great. But either way, let's throw it on and let's see. Look at our RD! This is going to be great! Unfortunately, we don't see any special effect whenever I throw an acid flask on the bees. We don't see the toxic coating. Maybe something to be considered in the future. I'm sure there's a lot of time for the developers to work on these details. As long as it works, we don't have a problem with it. Let's take a quick look through the skills and the passive skills and assign some points there, and then we're gonna run the map. If you want to jump straight to the map, look in the search bar and you will see I always put a few chapters here and there so that you can jump to whatever you are interested in, because I am doing a lot of talks in the early video before preparation or for point assignment and what I am thinking. As far as active skills, I've already assigned the points, mostly because I already spoke in the first episode about the plan and what I am going for. Plus, when it comes to poison, it's fairly easy. I just went with points that offered us more poison damage, right? Higher chances to poison and things like that. I also picked here for Acid Flask the chance to apply efficacious toxin, which causes the enemy to take 10% increased damage over time for 4 seconds, and it cannot stack. So I wanted to have this effect in place because 10% extra damage from poison is really good. Increase the area of effect for Acid Flask, which also helps with the rest of the skills. Over on the shift side, I went over here to drop an Acid Flask on Departure and also one on Arrival. Then over here with the Eagle, I gave it a bit more, a few more charges for the acid flask so it can drop some extra bombs. Also a chance to grant the Eagle some of these charges whenever I am using acid flask directly. Branding talents, this one is increasing the ailment chances for our Falcon. I want to maximize this to 200%. We're on this side with the decoy. I went all the way up here in order to get Grand Diversion. Extra decoys thrown +2. So that is pretty good there. But what I have realized is that I need a lot of investment here in embedded spikes in order to get backup body, which gives us an extra charge for decoys. What I'm thinking is that if I pick this point as well, I will be able to have 2 charges for decoys, meaning that I can put down not only 3 of these, but 6 of these in total. However, that also in a way stops us from going this way, because I will need... I will get 3 more points from leveling up, right? Level 18, 19, and 20. We need 2 points to get this one here, and then I will need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get acid fumes to make this decoy explode and instead of fire do acid flask. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I wanted to invest a lot of points in the shorter duration here, the shorter fuse, you know, so that we can get these explosions quicker and have those bees summon a lot faster. But I have this here, the boom, with the large explosion area and everything. And I believe that what I should be doing now, because I want to get faster to some of these effects, is that I should be removing this one. These are 4 points which can definitely be used in another area. Now, if backup body works the way I'm thinking, and we could put down 6 decoys in total, then I will probably have to invest in in having items which also increase the level of decoy in order to get here to acid fumes. That might probably be the situation, but we shall see how things evolve depending on how much this works. If it doesn't work, if I put down some decoys and then I have the extra charge and I throw another set of decoys and they just get replaced, which doesn't seem logical, right? Then it wouldn't really have a lot of value. But if it works like that and they just get replaced, then this one has no more value, and then it's going to be very easy to go here to acid fumes. And as far as my final specialization go, I went with Flurry at the moment. On one hand, because I can have very quick attacks, meaning that I can apply a lot of poison stacks, you know. And I went down here with some extra chance to poison penetration, damage over time. It doesn't specialize further than this. It's a pretty basic attack, and I went up here in order to gain some mana and gain some health from these hits. Now, I am looking at a few ways to maybe improve this in the future. On one hand, if I want to stay melee and make sure that I'm applying some poison by direct melee hits, on one hand, I could go in this direction with puncture and get other than having the bleed, we can transform into poison chance and poison shred chance. I think that this could work. I could also go with the umbral, however, it's not like this super crazy modifier. Overall, I can't specialize in poison in a way that makes a lot of sense or is super powerful when it comes to melee attacks, okay? And that's why, because I am scaling a lot of minion damage, I was thinking that maybe I want to go with Ballista and go with Tainted Ammunition here. Hitting your Ballista with Acid Flask gives it a chance to poison enemies and more poison damage. If Acid Flask damage is converted to fire, this is instead Ignite chance and more fire damage. And it would give us 100% extra poison chance from Acid Flask, and damage with Acid Flask increased by 25%. So we're gonna give it even more damage, and I think that maybe going with the Ballista as a minion might be the way to go rather than us doing the damage. But that is going to have to be a choice which we make later on. Now let's talk passives. Last time we left about here. I've invested a few more points in, of course, minion damage. It was fairly easy to make that choice. Let's see, increase throwing damage and getting your caltrops from all sources, apply 3 stacks of frailty on hit. Don't care that much for it. Increase critical chance per point and minion critical chance per point and critical multiplier, or Sky Assassin, increase damage over time, and if I invest 5 points, a portion of your chance to bleed and poison on hit is applied to your Falcon. We do want to get those multipliers going, so we're gonna go with 5 points there. Poise, glancing blow, chance 2% per point, and your chance to receive a glancing blow is doubled if you have not been hit recently for 5 points. Expediency, increase haste effect, would be interesting, and have an additional potion slot whenever we hit 4 points. Or you have increased armor for each time your Falcon has hit an enemy recently, and it's a percentage. Not something that we care that much for, to be honest. Mostly because I don't have a lot of armor going. Now let's maximize this. Unlocked the final row. Increased damage by 6% per point and slow duration. Okay, we don't care. You regain health when you or your minions crits an enemy. You have an additional critical strike avoidance, and whenever we hit 5 points, your minions gain additional critical strike multiplier per 3% of your uncapped critical strike avoidance. Okay, that is interesting. Tailwind, you take less damage while moving. Additionally, you have increased movement speed and dodge rating. These effects are doubled if your Falcon has hit an enemy recently. Okay, why not invest 1 point there? And then we're gonna go with the crits. Let's get 1 point here as well. Let's go with more critical strike chance rather than that. That is it. That is as far as we go. At the moment, I've been replacing some of the equipment as well, just to get increased poison chance. You can see I'm at 148%. Once, it says here, chance above 100% gives a chance to apply multiple stacks with each hit, and that is a great way to increase the amount of poison that you are doing very fast. And the poison damage is now at 110. Still missing a lot of equipment, but that is totally fine. And the summon vines, I am actually getting the summon vines, and they are poisonous vines, and thus they apply poison, so overall it helps us a lot. Now let's see the build in action. I've been waiting for this for so long. We are running now normal monoliths, we are not on empowered. And I haven't defeated any boss yet. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, this is going to be fun. Now I'm gonna help those bees as well, because I can also summon bees using melee attacks. I wonder if there's any item which autocast, or any of these idols which autocast decoys. That might be a bit overpowered. Right? Very little intentionality. And it might also summon it at the wrong time. That is also something which we could take into consideration. At some point I had a question on whether wearing that ring which gave us some minion armor and what else was there? Like it summoned the decoy, which is not actually a decoy. And I wonder if that would summon bees as well. And I still don't know the answer to that question. So maybe we should try it. Let's see. Okay, we can travel onwards already. Great. Let's go home. I think for right now, we're not getting the highest level of damage for our minions. There's still much to scale. I've been mostly focusing on poison. Or that is the best equipment that I found so far. Let's see, where is that ring? Now, I don't really plan to use it. Mostly because we would be losing on a lot of potential damage and resistance. But for the moment, let me replace this ring. And let's just see, I'm not gonna summon any decoys. And we're gonna see if whenever this ring will summon that distraction. What was it called? Let's see. Illusory tree. If that is going to count as sort of a... Okay, that's the illusory tree. It got destroyed and there was no bees there, so it doesn't work like that.
Easy, too easy.
Then I am going to throw this ring back on. With the decoy, okay, so we're getting accelerated experience. That means I'm one step away from actually getting that extra charge. And I am mostly curious about that. Because this is effective as it is. Like, look at that RD.
They won't forget that one.
This is definitely effective, but it will definitely scale up intensively once we can summon, what was it, 40 bees in total or something? Plus whatever I can summon from melee attacks. Yes, but I'm also taking a lot of damage. Which is why I was thinking that maybe I should start focusing on putting down totems. Now, it would change the playstyle a lot, and it might be worth it. Because then I would be focusing on just staying away and dodging, putting down decoys to make sure that all the time we are summoning these, having ballistas, having the eagle do its attacks, basically focusing on that type of gameplay. And whenever I need to do damage, I should just be focusing on throwing the acid flask rather than anything else. Let's see how quickly we can take care of this guy. Could have waited until the bees were... I could summon all of the bees. Let's see. Oh, he destroyed them. So without the coating, without reducing that damage, and how much... What do I have on the minions? I have 252 increased minion damage. Minion health is only at 72%. Do I have anything else here with minion health? It's the ring, but it has 0 forging potential. So right now I am not really running with items which would increase their defense or their health. I have to start thinking about that. Seems like it mostly had something to do with the wizard there. Oh, I love it. But yes, they are dying a lot from the AoEs especially, so something to consider going forward is... Ah, and by the way, look at the vines. So poison vines there, helping us. But definitely something to think about going forward is to get that extra health. Absolutely beautiful. And we got another level up. The ultimate test. We're waiting here to see once we get those 2 charges. Now it doesn't decrease the cooldown for it, right? It does not. Lasting presence does. Fortunately, we need just 1 point here. So now we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. And we only have a maximum of 5. I can reduce 1 more point there. So let's call it 6. But I will need 2 levels. And there is such a thing here. If we're looking at crafting materials, we can see that I have only 1 of these level of decoys. So it is a bit unfortunate. I will have to look for the type of equipment which provides us with +1. And actually, I don't think I have it. Let's look for affix. And right here, decoy. Level of decoy, mana efficiency. I don't care about mana efficiency. We could also look for acid. Chance to shred, no. Increase area of effect. Chance to summon a bee. What? Okay, bee. What do we have with bees? Bees per second. Okay, elemental bees per second. Chance to summon a bee with acid flask. I didn't think about it. I didn't think that this would be a thing. But all of a sudden, I have my next step. I know what I'm looking for when it comes to this build. Who knew that throwing an acid flask we would be able to summon a bee? And I am curious if this effect applies to all acid flasks. In which case, Whenever we're moving around, whenever we're dropping one of those flasks, whenever the eagle is dropping one of the acid flasks, we're building an army here. And it's starting to look pretty awesome. I have the charges. I'm gathering an army. Let's see. 1, 2. Look at the bees! That is great. But yes, they do die quickly. So, what is our next step? Besides what I've just put on the filter, getting lucky to find an item which will provide us with summon bees whenever we drop an acid flask, I will be looking for, especially for equipment which increases our health. Because minion damage, like minion damage, if I'm thinking about it, minion damage shouldn't matter anymore. It's adding, of course, a lot to our eagle, but I'm also converting a lot of it to poison. And since I'm using poison coating for our bees, they will also apply more stacks of poison, and that is our main focus rather than damage. So with this in mind, what I should be looking for is mostly minion health, to make sure that our bees can survive for a longer amount of time when they get attacked, rather than looking for... And I think that is okay. That is a good plan to go forward with. How far away are we from winning this mission? Not that far. Look at that. Look at the army of bees! Crazy. Nice dumb builds, but so fun to play. I will go... Shall we maximize this? Now let's go in this direction. Help on crit and crit avoidance sounds pretty good to me. We'll be running a few more maps. Chance to bleed on with shurikens. Increase armor shred effect. Okay, don't care. At this moment I don't have any specific idols that I'm looking for when it comes to the rogue. I could be looking for a few things, but I just wanted to see everything. When I'm looking at the current inventory, as you can see, it's not too special. Even the small ones, I could replace. Some of them provide me with very bad effects, and that's why I wanted to see all of the idols at the moment, and I haven't specialized in anything in particular. But now that I am in the monolith and I can specifically farm for certain items, the story will probably change fairly soon. I will be replacing those idols whenever we're using a good map. It would be awesome if there was an item which also added up to bee duration. However, given how squishy they are, maybe the bee duration wouldn't be worth it. I think it would be actually one of those modifiers where you would say that it is super invaluable, but you also need health. That already takes 2 slots from your equipment. And then you would still have to add to their attack. Whether you go like this with chance to poison, chance to ignite, something like that. Either way, it's not going to be super efficient. Can I command the bees? Yes. Okay, so I should also be commanding the bees. yeah, the most impressive thing would be, because right now whenever the explosion happens, it's exactly then that I have to use the acid flask on them. Now, what I am wondering is, let's say that the explosion happens with the acid flask. Like, let me show you in a second here. As soon as I defeat these enemies. So, I have to throw an acid flask on the bees as soon as they are summoned to make sure that they are receiving less damage and that they do their poison on hit. However, if I get down here to decoy and small explosions are replaced by acid flask detonations, the final explosion is replaced by free acid flask ejected from a decoy, then what this would mean, if I understand it correctly, is that this will explode, it's going to summon the bees, and then it's also going to drop the flask. If the flask have only like this very small delay when they jump in the air, right? They go in an arc, like you have it like this, so you have that arc to it. If that happens in that explosion of the decoy as well, then that half a second to a second might be just enough for the beast to get summoned and also for the acid flask to explode on them, thus giving them the reduced damage and a chance to poison. That would be the most amazing thing that this build could get, or the most powerful move that this build could get. It does require certain elements. I mean, what I am thinking right now is definitely that I want to respec out of short fuse, at least with another point, to make sure that we're getting here. And then try to get an item or craft an item which will give us some extra points. Once again, it's fairly expensive. It's fairly expensive to stay with max decoy, where I'm thinking that it might not even be worth staying with it and just replace it, right? Just have the bees from only one set of decoys and then make sure that this turns into acid fuel, because this one might be a bit more powerful than a few extra bees. Maybe. I am not sure. I am going to test it out. We're gonna see how this works, how it functions, especially as we will be at higher levels. I love the bees. They're fun to play with. And I'm not sure exactly that we need all of them all of the time. I think we can wait and summon a set every few seconds as well. Yeah, it's really good. I guess having a point in these extra shots is very good early on, because when you're clearing a map, I'm constantly going to be on cooldown with one of them as we're going from pack to pack. That's not going to be super valuable. I have it in the beginning of the map, and maybe I just summon. The plan is to summon only one set of decoys and then move forward, and whenever there's a larger map or a more dangerous enemy, then you summon two decoys. And when you're fighting the boss, it's at that point, of course, that you are going to get multiples. Like, you want to start with two of them. But once the battle starts, you've thrown your first big army of bees, then you won't wait until you have two charges. So you won't get as many bees as you would. Two minions have avoidance to stun. You don't see it, so probably not. What is that? Minion power for on character level, 21%. Great. see, what are we leveling up? We're gonna go in this direction. It increases the cooldown, but it doesn't matter. We're going the right path. And let's see, let's give it more of these. And that's it. Freeze rate I don't care for, chance to ignite I don't care for, 9% chance to gain 30 words when hit. Probably better than some of the stuff that I have here. Yeah, potion health converted to word. The fire resistant it could be important, but getting some word might be a bit better. But that's going to have to be it for today. Hope you have enjoyed it. There's definitely potential behind this build, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to come up next. I'm going to keep farming. I'm going to maximize the power of our character. I'm going to try to keep focusing on getting extra poison damage at the same time. So we shall see. We shall see how it turns out in another, I don't know, 10, 20 levels. Depending on when I have something to show, I will return. That might be a day, that might be 2 days. It really depends on how lucky I get. So just so you know, it might take another day before you see another episode for this Queen Bee. Until next time, hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, do consider leaving a like, as it does help me, helps the channel grow, and it would be much appreciated. And until next time, I wish you all to have a wonderful day.